All right, good morning, traders. Today is January 15th, 2025. My name is John Kerrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. I want to thank everybody out there in digital land, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, everybody. Appreciate that. Thank you for being a part of our service. Hope you find value in our content. All right, so this morning, my SPY pivot this morning, 580.40. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five are still in daily downtrends. All made higher lows and higher highs, closing over their 17 EMAs. Some closed underneath the bearish trap, and some closed inside the bearish trap. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend. Gold in a downtrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Silver also in a downtrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing over under a bullish trap under the 17. USO and UNG both in uptrends. UNG made an outside day while USO made a lower low and a lower high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. US dollar index still in an uptrend, closed near the 109.22 area. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. We'll move this down. Here's our 10-minute chart. Okay, 10-minute chart. We've got, see the thin yellow line? That's the 3 EMA. All right, so we got the thin yellow line up over, and the candles up over the white line. That's the 8 EMA, and the 17 EMA, which is these green dots. The brown line is VWAP. All right, so price action in a 10-minute uptrend going into the closing hour. The shaded section is the closing hours. All right, so we got a 10-minute uptrend going into the closing hour on the 2-hour chart. Okay, get the thin yellow line and the candle up over the white line, but underneath the 17. Okay, so got kind of a 2-hour uptrend going into the close, drifting up over these 17 EMA dots right there. So got ourselves a 2-hour uptrend, kind of climbing in there. Still underneath the 17 at the time, kind of just neutral right there. But you can see as we get into the pre-market this morning, we're all the way up over that green dot there, putting us in a 2-hour uptrend. All right, let's take a look at the daily chart. On the daily chart, higher low, higher high, closing under the bearish trap. See the thin yellow line underneath the white and the dots and the candle underneath both of those. Okay, so we got daily downtrend on the SPY. Okay, we haven't made a higher high. So price action has made lower lows. Here's a low, we made a lower low. All right, and then here's a low, and we made a lower low. And then here's a low, and then we made a lower low right there. So we're in a daily downtrend right now. But on the weekly chart, okay, first candle to close underneath the 17 right here. Okay, we've got a long ways to go to turn the weekly chart into a downtrend. We are in an uptrend on the SPY, just not moving up, kind of pulling back here. All right, so it'll be interesting to see where we find support. Really, weekly support doesn't show up until, well, we had some right here. Let's put a line in. So we had some weekly support right there. We got under it. Maybe we get back over it. The next weekly support is going to be right through here. Right about there. Okay, so weekly support doesn't show up till 566.61. Not sure if we're going to make it down there. We got CPI coming out today, and the daily chart is in a daily downtrend, so we'll see where we go. All right, so there's your weekly chart. All right, so let's take a look at where we're going to set up the game plan. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to put the pivot. We're going to move the pivot up to, pretty sure I said 580 something. Let me just pop that up there. 580.40. All right, so let's move this up to 5 580.40. Let me just edit that. 580.40. There's our pivot. Okay, so we're going to have green erase is red right up over this brick wall right here. Okay, so green erase is red right up over this area here. That's 583. 583.66. So over 583.66 is a bullish entry. So let's put that in there. That's our game plan, 583.66 right there. So there's our bullish entry. All right, looking for a green candle. Nothing like, don't want a topping tail, don't want a doji candle. All right, want a solid green candle. Show me the bulls are stepping in up over this area. Okay, you can see we've gone up there once and we gave it up. We've gone up there again, we gave it up. We went up there again yesterday and gave it up. And now we're up there again late this evening, okay? And you can find us up there again in this morning. Okay, so for the bearish side, let me just change this. This is 880.40. Okay, let's move the pivot up over here, 880.40. Okay. Hate that when it moves around like that. It's 880.40, and for the bearish side. So that would be red erases green. So I would want red erases green right underneath probably this area right here. Okay, 579.52. That would be red erasing all of the green. So 579.52 is going to be our bearish entry on the downside. And we'll change this to 579.52. Okay, so it's got a bearish entry down here and a bullish entry right here. Okay, so what kind of options do I like? I like the 2 DTE. Those are the ones that are going to expire on Friday. And the 9 DTE. Those would expire next Friday. All right, I like them $2 to $5 out of the money because they're a little bit cheaper. I don't get the same performance as I do in the money, but I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of performance to work with a product that's a little bit cheaper and I can buy more of that product. Okay, so price action right here. I'm looking for price over 583.66. Nice green candle up there. All right, for price to come up here and fill this gap overhead. So there's our SPY game plan. Let's go take a look at QQQ. QQQ is going to probably be about the same thing here. We'll put a QQQ pivot. We're going to move it up to this area right here. That's 504.20. All right, and red erase is green. We'll move this out of the way. The red erase is green right down here. That green candle right there, 502.15. All right, and green erase is red over, right over this candle right here. So that's going to be 507.10. We'll call it 507.10. All right, so there's our QQQ game plan. All right, so let's go take a look at the Qs on the daily chart. Pick up a clean chart here. Price action for the Qs. You can see yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Okay, QQQ on the daily, lower, higher low, higher high, but closing still under the bearish trap under the 17. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow, a little bit stronger than the other three. Okay, Got a higher low, higher high, but closing over a bearish trap under the falling 17. All right, so just kind of neutral on Diamond Dow because it moved up, gave it up right there. Same with QQQ. QQQ a little bit stronger, moving up, giving it up right here. Didn't give it all up, but no longer in the upper third. All right, let's take a look at IWM. IWM, higher low, higher high, closing in the bearish trap under the falling 17. Again, moving up and giving it up is just neutral right there. So there's IWM on the daily chart. Price action underneath the falling 17, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, and underneath the midpoint. All right, so let's take a look at our technicals. T2122. Yesterday, this would be the 14th. All right, price shot out of the seller's chop zone, clear into the buy zone. The bulls threw us out. Actually, the bears threw us out right there. Wound up making a higher low over the midpoint. And then we came back to visit the bears again in the buy zone. All right, and it came back and made a higher low here. So got a little inverse head and shoulders going on right there. All in all, headed back into the buy zone. Looking kind of bullish. We're getting like a little bounce, I think, so far. T2123. For yesterday's price action, you can see there was buying all day. We filled the bearish gap. It's not the same as filling it the same day, but we finally filled it the day after. All right, still got to make our way up over this prior all-time high. You can still see price is in a bear flag, and it's still under the falling 200. Okay, it's not a rip rocket bounce where price slings all the way back up. Notice we're still in a bear flag. We still could go lower. All right, T2123. Okay, that was the T2123 15-minute chart. There's the falling 200 SMA on the 15. So still no signs of bullishness yet. All right, we are getting some rubber band action from underneath this prior all-time high right here, this light white line right there. On the 3-bar chart, this is the same chart. It's just broken up into, the day's broken up instead of 15-minute segments. It's broken up into 130-minute segments. Price action, okay, you can see we had a move down, bear flag, and then we had a breakdown right here. And then we come right into this prior all-time high. Now you can see price action kind of floating around in here, trying to make it back up towards the all-time high. We've got a falling 17 EMA. I think price action may come up here. I don't know whether they can get over it, but I got a feeling it's probably going to come either over or probably back up here a little bit, and we'll see if they can consolidate and make a higher, make some move back towards over these red dots that are falling. You can see the 200 SMA kind of flat here. All right, price action way underneath it, kind of extended, due for a sling back. We'll see how far. Got a lot of resistance right up here. We'll see what happens. There's T2123 on the FNGU. Right, we follow the FNGU because it's got 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and the SPY. Most of the times, if the FNGU is moving up strong and the other products inside those indexes are moving south, you can find that these weighted stocks will actually carry the index up higher. So these carry a lot of weight. All right, so price action, just consolidating here, but consolidating in a bear flag. Notice we're not bouncing straight back up. All right, we're coming down and we're moving over to the right in a sloppy pattern. So yesterday, a little bit of buying, a little bit of selling, found ourselves under VWAP for the most part of the day. That's bearish. All right, I would like to see price action up over the regular VWAP. We did not see that. spent most of the day selling underneath VWAP on FNGU. You can see there's a little bit of buying there, but once they got back to VWAP, the selling resumed. All right, so not a good look. Again, it looks like we're probably going lower. All right, so there's the FNGU. Let's take a look at a few sectors. First, we'll start off with XLE. It's our energy sector. Energy sector yesterday put in a higher low, higher high, closing. It's been a while over the all-time high anchored VWAP right up there. So here's the all-time high anchored VWAP put in looks like April of last year. So we've spent a lot of time underneath that. Price action finally made its way to close a candle yesterday over that all-time high anchored VWAP. XLE daily chart is in a downtrend, but definitely not moving down. All right, it's having a pullback right through here. Nice pullback all the way out of quadrant 1, all the way out of quadrant 2, and hopefully finding a home in quadrant 3. We'll see what happens. There's XLE on the daily chart in a downtrend, but definitely not moving down. I would expect this to kind of pull back to this uptrend line or find some support. Not sure where it can find support. Maybe right here we could find some support in the uptrend line. All right, that would be nice, and see this J hook out of here, move back up here for the second time, and then consolidate. We'll see what happens. That's XLE on the daily chart. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG putting in an outside day. All right, closing over the bullish trap, over the 17. All right, I'm getting signs of wick. All right, so we got some sellers up here. They're not giving up yet, but just a note, there's some sellers up here. Probably going to have to pull back and find some support. I would look for support to kind of show up right around this area right here. So right around 1635, 60, or between 17 and 1635, right here on the midpoint, right there. So I'd look for support to show up there. Look for a J hook back up into quadrant 4 if they can do that. All right, I'd like to see them make that higher low somewhere over here, right around at the top of this peak. That would be nice. And it may even drift down to 1556, this peak right here. So anywhere between 1556 and this 1672, I think they're probably going to have a pullback to one of those areas. And that's just looking at all the wicks up here. I'm seeing a lot of wicks. Now they could consolidate, okay, up in quadrant 4. We'll see, but usually a nice pullback helps re-energize the movement. But anyways, there's UNG in a daily uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs, and higher lows, not a higher high. So probably going to come back and visit this area right here. We'll see what happens. They may just fly up over 20 and consolidate up there. There's a possibility. We'll see. But you can see we've been up here once, twice before. Definitely found some sellers. I would expect to find sellers up here at 20 if we do that again. A little bit different. You notice price action is holding up here instead of giving it up. So that's a nice sign that price action is holding up here in quadrant 4. Let's take a look at USO. USO price action in yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. This is really hot. I'd like to see this cool off for a couple weeks, maybe even a month. All right, hopefully hold this area up here in quadrant 4. That would be nice. We'll see what happens. So that makes this area right here, all right, 78.50, a little bit of support. All right, next support area is going to be right here at the midpoint, 74.50, 74.60. All right, so we got support at 78.50 and 74.60. All right, so might find ourselves right back here, creating a kind of a head and shoulders. We may visit this area and find a J hook out of there. We'll see. Right now, everything's acting bullish up here in quadrant 4. That's a really nice look when it moves up and holds the higher ground. Again, moving up and holding the higher ground, just like UNG was doing. Again, UNG moving up and holding the higher ground. That is a very bullish outlook. All right, so not giving up on it yet. It may make a visit UNG up to 20. We'll see. USO, I think, just needs to cool off, but it is moving up and holding this higher ground. That is bullish. A little bit too hot, though, right now. See the separation between the candles and the rising 17 EMA. All right, let's take a look at precious metals. Silver. Silver's in a downtrend. Gold's also in a downtrend. Silver yesterday made a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bearish trap, bullish trap, and under the 17 EMA. Silver's still caught underneath these 12-year high anchored VWAPs. Silver can't seem to make a higher high. Price action, though, looks like it made a higher low right here. So it could be the beginnings of an upward movement back towards these 12-year high anchored VWAPs. That's the pink lines up there. All right, so we'll see what happens. There's silver, still in a downtrend. Just neutral here. Actually neutral bearish because they got all the way down here to quadrant 1. All right, you can see they didn't get into quadrant 1, but they got pretty close to breaking into that area. Again, silver moving up and giving it up, just neutral right there. Neutral bearish underneath the midpoint. Gold, a little bit different story here. Notice they're up in quadrant 4. They're up over their all-time high anchored VWAP as opposed to under a 12-year high anchored VWAP. Price action for gold, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. Okay, if gold happens to take out this high right here, they will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. So there's gold making an attempt to break out of this downtrend status. Right now, gold bull flagging, if you look at the direction from here all the way up, just consolidating over to the right up in quadrant 4. That is bullish. Just waiting for that next short-term time frame chart to start moving up. You can see we've already got probably a nice 2-hour uptrend, if you want to look at that uptrend. Got a 2-hour uptrend going on already with higher lows and higher highs. On the daily chart, not quite there yet, all right, because we haven't made a higher high right there. So there's gold. Let's take a look at silver. We already looked at silver, right? Try it one more time. Yeah, silver's down here. All right, let's take a look at a few sectors. SMH. All right, SMH in a downtrend. They made a lower low right here. So SMH back in a downtrend, but still over all-time high anchored VWAP. And up here in the upper third. So still bullish on SMH. You can see a bull flag, price action moving up, kind of holding this higher ground for a long time. A lot of consolidation. The fabric of the flag here is almost twice as long as the flag pole. So it could be a big bump out, breakout for SMH. We'll see what happens. XLK technology sector, again another long flag, almost twice as long as the flag pole. All right, price action XLK technology sector in a downtrend technically, but look at the location as compared to some of the other charts. We're up here in quadrant 4. All right, still consolidating up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. So neutral bullish up here on XLK and SMH. Another bull flag, sloppy bull flag, but still up here in quadrant 4. Nice look for the technology sector. XLI and XLU, both in downtrends, all right? They got a ways to go. Okay, they broke this low right here. That put them in a downtrend, and they broke this low right here. That put them in a downtrend. And in order to negate this downtrend, they're going to have to either create a lower high and then take it out, or take out this high right here. and that was the pullback from the all-time high right there. So basically, they either got to make a new all-time high or create a lower high and then take out the lower high. XLI dealing with caught underneath all-time high anchored VWAP there. Price action yesterday, pretty nice. Higher low, higher high, closing, notice, over a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. So XLI trying to put up a fight on this downtrend. All right, so there's XLI, nice couple of candles right there. Like to see them get over resistance. Maybe they can hold this area right here and then J hook out of there. So right up here over 134.26, they can hold that area and then J hook out of there. They have some hope. There's the industrial. Take a look at XLU. Not as pretty as XLI. Again, dealing with the midpoint here, caught underneath this falling 17, caught underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, moving up, giving it up makes it just neutral. Same thing, XLI. Moving up, giving it up, just neutral. All right, let's take a look at XLF. Got some financials reporting this morning, and looks like we've got some good news. Financials still in an uptrend, unless you want to count this as a lower low and this low taking it out. That would put it in a downtrend. Me, I'm counting this right here. So financials still in an uptrend, having a pullback. All right, kind of a long pullback if you ask me, but that's what it is. All right, so XLF price action for yesterday. Got a higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross, but underneath the 17 EMA. Price action early this morning, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap and over the 17. About to challenge this all-time high anchored VWAP. I would definitely expect a challenge of that sometime today if they are bullish. Failure to challenge that being this close, I would look out below. All right, if they don't spike that number today, I would look out below. And it's not too far to go. I mean, they're at 48.77. To tag that number, it's 49.05 or 49.04. So there's XLF trying to break out and negate the downtrend that they're in. All right, let's take a look at this downtrend here, but in actuality, they haven't taken out this low, so they're still in the uptrend. They just haven't been moving up. All right, let's take a look at XRT. XRT moving up and giving it up. So just neutral right back here at the midpoint, caught underneath the falling 17. Retail sector. A lot of consolidation, sloppy consolidation over prior consolidation. They should find support right through this area at the midpoint. But I'm not seeing a bounce out of here. All right? Like to see a bounce out of here. And notice they haven't taken out this low yet, so they're still in an uptrend by my standards. But they have made lows and taken out those lows underneath the 17 EMA. So if you want to classify that as a downtrend, you could. But if they take this low out right there, then that's a downtrend for me. All right, same with XLF. All right, let's take a look at IYT, last one. IYT moving up, giving it up. Yesterday's price candle, not a pretty one at all. Got ourselves a higher low, higher high, but closed underneath a bearish cross and underneath the 17 EMA. So IYT still in a downtrend. Let's take a look at the economic package. All right, let's get to the economic calendar first. Okay, this morning, CPI inflation's coming out in about 1 minute. All right, they're going to measure inflation. Empire State Manufacturing Index at 8:30, Petroleum Report at 10:30, and then a beige book at 2. All right, on tomorrow, jobless claims 8:30, retail sales 8:30, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index 8:30, import-export prices 8:30, business inventories at 10, housing market index at 10, natural gas report at 10:30. And on Friday, housing starts permits at 8:30, industrial production 9:15, and then a rig count at 1, and that's about it for this week. So the main event this week is CPI, which comes out just came out. They got a nice rocket right up. All right, so we'll see what happens if they can hold that. All right, so there is the economic calendar. For the charts, we got the dollar in an uptrend closing near yesterday, 109.22, having a pullback right now. Still in an uptrend on the dollar. Earnings report. We got some big boys reporting this morning. JP Morgan Chase, 687 billion. They report this morning. Wells Fargo, 234 billion. Goldman Sachs, 176 billion. BlackRock, 147 billion. Citigroup, 137 billion. And some familiar names, but these guys should be able to move the financial sector clear up to that all-time high anchored VWAP. We'll see what happens. For tomorrow, get some more. Taiwan Semiconductors, over $1 trillion of market cap reporting tomorrow. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. Not sure if they know when they're going to report. They haven't committed to it. That's what it looks like to me. I've seen them put this dash in and then they move it to another week. UNH, United Healthcare, $498 billion, only half a trillion. All right. They're going to report tomorrow morning. Bank of America, $345 billion. Morgan Stanley, $199 billion. Infosys, $94 billion. And then you got some familiar names. But nothing that's going to really move the markets. Not like these top 5 up here. Friday, we've got a lot of financials reporting. Okay. But nothing that's going to move the markets. My mouse is dying. Might have to get another battery. There it goes. All right, for Monday, familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets. Max Payne for today, 581 and 1 1/4 puts to each call. All right, and that's it. Traders, I'll be back on in 45 minutes. I'll take questions. Fido says, am I holding any UNG calls? Yes, I am. And would I sell those based on the sellers? No, not yet, because on UNG, that's a great question. Okay, UNG, see they're holding the higher ground right there. They've moved up and they've held. So we may be making a visit up to 20. Okay, so I have a target of 20. So we'll see what happens, how close we get. I'd like to see them come up here and challenge these 2 peaks. All right, so we'll see what happens. But I do plan to take profit. See where the sellers were before. I do plan to take profit in this area again. Okay. So inflation came way down. So we got a big rocket ride to the upside this morning. All right, traders. I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. All right, and we'll kick off the markets. Get a nice rally this morning.